This video will provide an overview of troubleshooting and error recovery for the Bunch Recycler Module, BRM. This video assumes that you are generally familiar with the modules that make up the BRM and its functions. This information is presented in NCR Bunch Recycler Module Video Number 1, BRM Overview, and Video Number 2, BRM Theory of Operations. The universal 600-watt power supply provides 24-volt DC power to the BRM. There are two 24-volt DC cables connected to the upper module control board and another two 24-volt DC cables connected to the lower module. These are routed to the lower control board at the left side of the BRM. The upper main control board controls the BRM shutter via the I2C cable, which leads to the shutter assembly, and is connected to the shutter PCB. There is one USB cable on the PC core that leads to the mini USB connector on the upper main control board. The upper main control board also communicates with all FRUs located in the upper module, including the remote overall status indicator and the intermediate transport. It also communicates with the lower main control board. The ATM MIDI miscellaneous interface board controls the BRM MEEI. This board is located at the top left of the fascia. The lower main control board communicates with all FRUs located in the lower module, including the overall status indicator. The BRM provides LED light panels to show the current status for its functional areas. We will begin our discussion by examining the overall status indicator light panels. Overall status indicator light panels are found on the ATM top box next to the Compact Operator Panel, COP, or near the lock lever on a front access machine. There are also status indicator lights near the orange handle on the BRM lower module. The overall status indicator light panels are composed of the following groups of LEDs. The upper module status LEDs, which are the red, amber, and green lights on the top row of the panel, provide the overall status of the installed components of the BRM upper module. The intermediate status LEDs, which are the red and green lights in the middle of the overall status indicator light panel, provide the status of the intermediate transport. The lower module status LEDs, which are the red, amber, and green lights that make up the bottom row of lights on the panel, provide the overall status of the BRM lower module. Both the upper and lower set of indicator lights change at the same time. These lights have several states, including on, off, and flashing. Refer to the BRM Operator Guide for more detailed information. On the side of both the upper and lower modules, there are status indicator lights that help pinpoint the location of any problems. Refer to the BRM Service Manual for specific information on the meaning of the state and color of each light. The upper module individual area status indicator lights point out the latch status, fault or jam conditions, and status of specific areas of the BRM upper module. The lower module individual status indicator lights point out the latch status, fault or jam conditions, as well as cassette and exception bin status. Level 0 diagnostics provide an overview of the general health of the BRM upon startup. At startup, the amber and red LEDs in the overall status indicator lights are off. The green LED flashes 4 times per second at startup during Phase 1, when the main control firmware is executing. The green LED turns solid after startup during Phase 3, indicating successful mechanical initialization. If anything goes wrong during the startup process, the appropriate LED turns red to indicate a problem. For specific diagnostic information, see the Device Diagnostics section in the BRM Service Manual. A total of 4 pages of diagnostic tests are provided to verify the function of the BRM. Details of each test can be found at the Device Diagnostics section in the BRM Service Manual. To decode M status and M data, a status code translator is available either on the NCR intranet website or in the Diagnostic Status Code Notebook. Additionally, this information can be accessed in the device event log. To get a clear view of the tests as they are run, you should rack out the machine and hold the interlock switch in with a screwdriver. The lower module interlock switch is located on the right-hand side. The interlock switch on the upper module is located on the left-hand side. Some diagnostic tests require access to the lower transport and the safe. To indicate access, open and close the cassette transport with the lower module racked out. The clear-out test attempts to perform a mechanical reset of the BRM. If the test is successful, any media found in the transport will be cleared into the dispense portion of the pocket. The media will move to the front portion of the pocket and the shutter will open. The notes are then manually removed or left in the shutter for further tests. If there was no media in the transport, the shutter will remain closed. The notes stored in the escrow will remain there during this operation. The notes can either be sent to the lower exception bin or refunded to the pocket using the encash or refund tests. If the device is successfully cleared, a device cleared message is displayed. Otherwise, a device not cleared message is displayed. The accept test is the second test we will discuss. If no media is present and the shutter is closed, the user is prompted to select a destination for rejected notes. They can be sent either to the pocket dispense area or the escrow. After selection, the shutter is opened and the user is prompted to enter a bunch of notes. If a bunch is entered within 15 seconds, the test asks the user to press OK to confirm the notes have been provided. The shutter will close and the notes will be processed. If no notes are entered within 15 seconds, the shutter will close and the test is ended. As the notes are counted, a processing notes message will be displayed until the bill validation is complete. Once validation is complete, a Notes Processed message is displayed, along with the note ID, category, serial number, and orientation of each note recognized. If there were any invalid notes, the reasons are listed, along with a count summary per note category. The encash test stores notes in the escrow unit and sends them to the cassette selected in the set storage container test. This test requires access to the lower transport before it can be selected. The set storage container test should be run before attempting the encash test. Note, this test will deposit money and may be counted as a live transaction, which is why the test displays a warning when notes are moved to a non-refundable storage container. If the test is not confirmed in 10 seconds, the test cancels itself. Click OK to confirm the operation. The test displays one of the following messages, notes encashed, when the notes are successfully stored. Or the test displays the escrow empty message if there are no notes in escrow and a partial encash message if an error occurs before all notes are stored. The refund test returns notes from the escrow unit to the dispense area of the pocket where they are presented for removal. If notes are present in escrow, the notes processing message is displayed. If there are no notes to refund, the escrow empty message is displayed. The metal detect test scans a deposited bunch of notes for metal objects and indicates whether metal is present or not. If there are no notes in the pocket, the shutter will open so that notes can be entered. Press OK to confirm that the notes have been entered. The shutter will close and the notes will be tested. The shutter opens when the test is complete. The metal has been detected message is displayed when coins or other metals are found in the notes. Remove the notes and select the Close Shutter test to close the shutter. The Metal has not been detected message is displayed when no metal is found. Select the Clear Out test to reset the pocket gates and return the notes. The Divert Gate test will check the divert gates by flicking every gate. The test will fail if any of the module covers are not closed. Make sure that all covers are closed. Override the interlock switch to start the test. The CE should visually verify the operation of the divert gates since there are no errors reported after this test. If any gate is not moving correctly, the connection should be inspected, repaired, or replaced as necessary. This test displays the various percentage reject rates calculated by the core driver for the following events: deposit feeding, deposit transport, deposit bill validation, dispense bill validation, controller, cassette 1 to 4 picking and transport, percent of bunches refused due to metal detection, percent of bunches refused due to foreign object. The set notes test sets the number of notes to be picked from each available cassette during a stack test. Access to the lower transport is required to execute this test. You may only select cassettes that are not empty. The test uses a default of 5 bills for each cassette. You may select a higher number of bills, but if the total number of bills exceeds 200, the "too many notes requested" message is displayed. The stack test will dispense notes from the cassette to the dispense area of the pocket. The notes stacked message is displayed when notes are ready to be presented in the pocket. The present test moves notes from the dispense area of the pocket to the customer. The shutter will open so that the notes can be removed. After the notes have been taken, the shutter close message is displayed. The notes are moved to the dispense area of the pocket for removal. The decached run-to-run live media test functions the same way as the accept and cache and dispense command. The test is treated like a live transaction. To access this test, page down through the list of tests 3 times to the 4th page. Select the 4th test in the list, decached run-to-run live media. Select where the rejected notes are to be stored, either in the pocket or the escrow. To begin the test, insert notes into the pocket. After the notes processing message is displayed, you will confirm that the notes will be stored in a non-refundable storage container. After the notes finish processing, they can be removed from the pocket when the shutter opens. The log tests write and save modular trace information to a log file that can be saved to a USB stick. Note that each test may take several minutes to complete, and a success or failure message will be displayed. If the test fails, a reason will be indicated. For a detailed list of all diagnostic tests and their functionality, refer to the BRM Service Manual. To decode specific M status and M data, use the Status Code Translator tool available on the NCR intranet or refer to the Diagnostic Status Code Notebook. The BRM error log is available in the Device Event Log from the System Application menu. There is a troubleshooting guide provided in the Service Manual as well. Like the other devices, BRM error messages also include M status and M data. M status is a single byte representing the area of failure. M data is divided into 4 bytes. Byte 0 is the command code. Byte 1 and byte 2 represent the device status. Byte 3 is the result code. For a complete list of BRM tallies and their meanings, refer to the BRM Service Manual. There are 3 dip switches on the upper main control board. The only switch that should be in the on position is the second one on DSW1, the black set of switches to the right. All other switches should remain in the off position. There are also 3 dip switches on the lower main control board. Position 1 and 2 on DSW1 are the only switches that should be in the on position. All other switches should be in the off position. The position of these switches is important. When replacing either of the boards, you should ensure that those switches are configured correctly. The cassette memory boards have dip switches that must be verified and set correctly during installation or replacement. For detailed information on dip switches and their settings, refer to the BRM Service Manual. You should ensure that the firmware of the FRUs is up to date by using the Download Firmware test on the Device Configuration menu, particularly after any FRUs are replaced. The BRM supports the RAS system test through 4 7-segment displays, together with 3 push buttons in the upper module control board. The buttons are named SW1, SW2, and SW3 from left to right. To start the RAS test, press SW1